Brandon Robinson back on the air with you with a new tornado warning this afternoon. We're tracking that through parts of several different counties. I know we've got Owsley County, we've got maybe part of Clay County there, and is there another county, Cameron, including Jackson County? So that goes until 3:30 this afternoon. And again, this storm was one of the ones that has been cruising through eastern Kentucky, from southern Kentucky out there, and we're working to get something on the web that Cameron has some more information about. But again, if you're in these areas that are in the warned system, or the warned area right here, especially into Jackson County, this right here is kind of the main threat, I think, on this here. You see the little bit of notch trying to form there this afternoon. We're going to continue to watch that as it tracks over toward Clay County and eventually into parts of several counties out there. So Jackson County and Clay County. What was the third one?
Owsley.
Owsley. Yep. Okay, so we're going to continue to track this as it goes through kind of the central parts of the area. If you're in Anvil, you're probably getting some of the heaviest parts of the storm right now. It's moving out of Jackson County, basically coming into McKee on the northern end. But again, right here, this area in particular, we are concerned about. This storm is moving to the northeast at 35.
Yep.
So basically, if you're anywhere to the northeast of this storm, it is going to be rolling towards you. It is turned tornadic. We do not have confirmed reports of a tornado on the ground. This is radar indicated, but again, we're going to stay on with you until this gets past, and we'll get into the news about 4 o'clock, give you kind of a full forecast. But right now, if you live in the Vine area, it's basically on top of you. You've got about 5 minutes to get in your safe spot. If you're out towards Sourwood, if you're out toward Felty, you've got just a few more minutes out there. That's kind of getting over into parts of Clay County and over eventually toward Owsley County. Sebastian is in Owsley County, I do believe, and we're going to continue to watch that to push that way as we head deeper into the afternoon. Crockettsville, I believe that's over at the Breath at Perry Cane line a little later this afternoon too. So this storm is tracking north of Hazard, but it is out there. It's north of Burning Springs. It's running right along 421. Cameron is circling the area that we're concerned about right now for rotation. It is east and south of Anvil. It is basically east and south of McKee and just north of Manchester. So if you're right there along the Jackson-Clay County line, you need to be in a safe spot right now. Okay, that whole area is under a tornado watch until 8 o'clock tonight, but we're going to continue to track this cell in particular as we go deeper into the day. There's the tornado watch from Pike County all the way over into Lake Cumberland and down into East Tennessee. We finally got that map updated for you there, and that story's up on the website. We're going to update that a little bit later. We're just trying to get the basics up right now because it's an ongoing situation. So lots of storms out there across the area, but the one we're most concerned about is this one right here. Now, there's also a severe thunderstorm warning, which Cameron was just on Facebook for a few minutes ago with a tornado possible. So anywhere along this line, I would be in your safe spot because there's a possibility even down toward Manchester of some a quick spin-up tornado down that way. If you're from Manchester to basically Beattyville, I would go ahead and get in your safe spot right now, even though that you're not all in the warning. But again, you could see along this entire line, maybe even Barberville, of course, those areas in Knox County. These storms have been producing damage to the west. I'm going to stop off and let Cameron talk about that step off and let Cameron talk about that for a second.
Yeah, we got a couple of reports of wind damage in Pulaski County and Burnside, and then we also just got word from the National Weather Service that one injury was reported also in Burnside from this particular storm complex, and this is the same storm that is moving off into portions of Owsley, Clay, and Jackson County right now. We also had reports of a funnel cloud with this storm as it was over Burnside in Pulaski County. Not right now, but it does have history of producing damage, and it has history of producing funnel clouds. So that's probably why, for the case of least regret, the National Weather Service went ahead and posted this tornado warning just to be on the safe side. And again, we are tracking that now just right near the Clay and Jackson County line there, just to the north of Burning Springs. It looks to have crossed over and now gone off towards the east of Highway 421, and that is where we're watching out for that rotation. But yeah, like Brandon mentioned, this storm does have history of producing a funnel cloud. It also has history of producing damage and an injury over portions of Pulaski County. Brandon.
That's right, and we're going to continue to track this. He circled basically where we're most concerned about. So if you're in Owsley County, this is Owsley County, this is Clay County, this is Jackson County. Starting to move out of Jackson County into Owsley County, moving to the northeast at 30 or 35 miles per hour to the northern tip of Clay County. That's where the tornado warning is. It is north of Manchester. It is east of Anvil and McKee, and it could be coming in on Boonville here in the next little bit there. So if you're out toward Boonville, you need to go ahead and get in your safe place. If you're near the Sturgeon area, you should already be in your safe place. Anywhere in western Owsley County, central Owsley County, as you see the track of this tornado warning coming right at you, you need to be in your safe spot. So continue to be downstairs, in a basement if you can. Underground is the best place to be. And of course, we're going to continue to track this with you. This is coming into a more populated area, especially if it gets toward Boonville. It's to the north of Manchester. But this whole complex of storms has had a tendency of producing damage. When it came through London, it was a heavy rain and some strong wind out there. So you do not want to let your guard down throughout the afternoon, because we're going to have more of these roll through. And these, again, can even push further in. So if you're in Breathitt County, if you're in Owsley County, if you're in several counties there even to the east of this tornado warning, it might be time to think about where you're going to go if you're in a situation like that. You do not want to be in a mobile home. I can tell you that. It's not built to sustain winds. Now, we do not have, again, the tornado confirmed to be on the ground, but like Cameron said, it did cause damage and injuries. The storm itself did, and that doesn't necessarily mean a tornado. Like I said earlier during our first coverage, even a straight line wind event can cause a lot of damage and even injuries. So again, no confirmed tornadoes today. We did have a report of a funnel cloud. So again, that just gives us an idea of how serious this situation is. Lowest level of your home, preferably a basement if you can. And we'll just kind of keep an eye on this system and keep you up to date here in the last little bit. Anything new from the Weather Service, Cam?
Nothing new. They are saying that they're going to continue the warning, but I kind of want to just give everyone a heads up in front of this line, because as you mentioned, this whole line has the possibility of producing some strong gusty winds. So we're going to put this out at 35 miles per hour. And you see here, as we get closer towards TJ, once again, the same area we talked about earlier this morning, there's afternoon, we have another round of showers and storms knocking on the doorstep, and these will continue pushing off north and east. And you're not under a warning, but these storms could fire up very quickly and produce some damage with those strong straight line winds and maybe even a spin up tornado. That is what we're watching out for now over portions of southern Jackson, moving into Owsley County right now.
That's right, and we're continuing to kind of keep a kind of a highlight on that area. And don't forget that severe thunderstorm warning down to the south, which is still just north of Manchester, but that includes Burning Springs and other parts of Clay County there just to the north, because that has a tornado possible tag on it. This is a strong line of storms that is continuing to race across our area. And again, if you are over anywhere east of these storms, Cameron's backing back up a little bit through the velocity data just to see if we can see rotation. This is a little closer to the Weather Service radar, so again, we might be able to see anything that forms here quickly. But that is the thing that we have to factor in with these tornadoes. We have never, very seldom do we have long track tornadoes in eastern Kentucky. Very seldom, okay? It was a very special circumstance. I know a lot of you thinking back to March 2nd, 2012 right now. This is not that by any means. The most tornadoes that we have here, if we have them in eastern Kentucky, you have quick spin-ups. They're not on the ground very long. Basically, the best area for tornado development is back out toward I-75 and west. That's where you see those stay on the ground for any amount of time out that way, and usually even out there it's not that long. The mountains do protect us to some degree because of the differences of hot and cold air, but you can still have tornadoes anywhere at any time of the year if the conditions are right. We're still watching that area there just to the south, just to the south of Sturgeon, basically right there on the Jackson-Owsley County line. So again, if you're in Boonville, if you're in Sturgeon, if you're in Cow Creek, that is the time now to get into your storm shelter, because all this is moving in this general direction to the northeast there, and it'll eventually be, again, let's go in pretty tight there and see if we can find Boonville on the map. There's Island City. We're looking again at parts of that area over that way. Sexton's Creek, getting it right now. Alger, probably getting that here in the next few minutes. Major up there again. There was Boonville. I just saw it up there. So again, it's going to be coming in your area, but it's going to be just south of you. So this is basically southern Owsley County, western Jackson County, and northern Clay County under this warning right now. Thankfully, a very kind of sparsely populated area, but there are people right there. It looks like it's tightening up just a little bit now, right there on the Jackson-Owsley County line.
Yeah, it's kind of where all the three counties come together there for Clay, Jackson,
so
Owsley.
This is Jackson. Jackson, this is Owsley, and this is Clay, to give you some perspective since we're a little bit further in from the major cities. There's Highway 421 that's running out of Jackson County into Clay County, and then back over here. We should be pretty close. I'm trying to think of where we're at there. He's circling the area of most concern in respects to towns out that way. South of Boonville, north of Manchester, but you've got several smaller communities. Island City, it's basically on top of you right now. Same for Sturgeon. Anywhere along this boundary where you see bows, if it bows out any or bows in, that is strong winds. Even if it's not a tornado touchdown, you see anywhere where you have these notches, they're called inflow notches. So you have to continue to watch that, even all the way down to Manchester and even further south than that there. You see those little notches all the way down into parts of Knox County, Bell County. As we mentioned earlier, some of the same counties, if this storm holds together, will be impacted regardless if it holds together as a severe warning storm, will be impacted as we get deeper into the afternoon hours there. And of course, this tornado warning goes until 3:30. We're going to put some communities back on there so we can give you a better track there. Sebastian at 3:31, Lucky Fork at 3:35, Arnett at 3:38, Buckhorn, which is in Perry County, back over this way at 3:44. And then you've got communities like Jackson and Russo and Hardshell, again, in Breathitt County. So if this storm stays on the right track and it keeps producing the possibility of a tornado, it's going to stay warm there for a little while longer. But even if it's not warm, it is a very strong afternoon of storms that we're going to continue to watch probably for the next couple hours. Cameron, there's actually a new severe thunderstorm warning just popped up.
Yep.
So there we go. Let's go back into that real quick. Just notice as I was stepping out there, that looks like, I'm going to read off some of the counties just by looking at them. That looks like for parts of Breathitt County, Perry County, Leslie County, northern Leslie County, and most of Owsley County. And how long does that go for?
That goes until 4 o'clock.
Okay, so that's till 4 o'clock. Is that a tornado possible?
Yes.
Okay, so again,
now I'm wondering if they are just kind of letting that tornado warning go.
Possibly.
Because it's getting close to the edge of the warning itself.
Right. So that might be what they're trying to do. They're just trying to figure out exactly how to warn this from here on out. But let's go back into the warn section and look at velocity one more time, because it did look like there for a little while it got broad for a minute. Still a little bit broad, kind of right here on the borders of the 3 counties, but it might be maybe it's continuing to stay broad and they're just kind of keeping precautions because this storm's already had a history of producing damage out to the west.
Yeah, it's had history of producing that injury in Burnside, also had history of producing some damage over in Pulaski County. So this storm, it means business. You see here, let me kind of draw right here for you. This part that kind of looks like a backward C, that is really indicative of some straight line wind damage. So if you are in northern Clay County, just a heads up, this storm means business. This is some really gusty winds as that backward C shape shows. It's kind of bowing out and heading into portions of northern Clay, southern Owsley. This is a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag, but we also have that tornado warning over portions of northern Clay County and southern Owsley County. This is south of Sturgeon. This is north and east now of Burning Springs. So if you are in extreme northern Clay County and extreme southern Owsley County, this is a tornado warning for you. And Brandon, I'm kind of looking out for this portion of the storm as well. It kind of looks like a comma head. There's a new tornado warning right there. Yeah. It kind of looks like a comma head shape.
That's what I was getting. You beat me to it. So let's go back out there for a little bit. New tornado warning just coming in. This goes until 3:45 for parts of Owsley, Perry, and Breathitt counties. So I forgot that I had my watch on where they pop up on my watch and said I could have just looked down at it. But again, that right there is the area of concern. Of course, the area under a tornado watch. And this is basically the new, he's drawing the new polygon out there with the lines. And you see Buckhorn included in this, back over again, south of north rather, of any major population centers there and parts of Clay County and into parts of Owsley County. So we're going to continue to watch that. You've got Lee County up to the north, and you've got, again, Buckhorn. And this eventually, if it holds together, we'll head right toward the National Weather Service office at Jackson. So that'll be right on their doorstep here before too long. So again, this whole line of storms, actually take me south for just a second. I don't want to take away from the tornado warning, but there is a new severe thunderstorm warning in East Tennessee. Okay. I just noticed that there a minute ago for parts of Campbell and Claiborne counties there. So that is another strong storm. Anywhere, any storm today, even if it's warned or not, where you see those notches, that's some broad rotation down that way, but where you see those notches, that means strong winds, okay? You can have straight line wind damage. It'll be just as bad as a tornado, but we're trying to keep you warned for all the storms. Let's go back up to the tornado warning now, because that's been expanded recently. It goes now to a 345.
We also have this severe thunderstorm warning that's kind of creeping up into our southwest Virginia
I see that
counties
now. That
as
was
well.
the one I didn't. It's right there, basically on the doorstep of Lee and Wise County. So this is a stronger storm.
So just a heads up there as well.
Yeah, exactly, down along US 23. But back out to the tornado.
The National Weather Service in Jackson, Kentucky has issued a tornado warning for southern Owsley County, northwestern Perry County, southeastern Jackson County, southwestern Breathitt County, north central Clay County, until 3:45 p.m. At 3:20 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Thomas, or 9 miles south of Boonville, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Garbertt around 3:30 p.m. Arnett around 3:35 p.m. Houston around 3:40 p.m. Other locations in the path of this tornadic thunderstorm include Sebastian's Branch. Repeating, a tornado warning has been issued until 3:45 p.m. for the following counties in Kentucky: Breathitt, Clay, Jackson, Owsley, and Perry.
Again, I know why they're doing this, and it's a smart call, it really is, but the rotation is just very broad.
Yeah,
it's very broad there.
Somewhere in this area.
Yeah, so that's, I understand why they're doing it, but again, it's just a situation that I think that we're starting to lose a little bit of punch. But here's the thing, straight line winds are still going to be a major factor with this. So even outside of a tornado, there's still the very big concern of straight line winds. Now, the other concern we've had, and we've had this all day long.
We have a new severe thunderstorm warning for
Okay.
Bell, Clay, Knox, and Leslie.
All right,
This
so
is
there we go.
towards
So
the
take us
south.
back to that one, and that goes until
4 o'clock as well.
Yep, so we're continuing to track a bunch of warnings this afternoon. It's been a very busy afternoon here in the Weather Center, and it continues to be. So till 4 o'clock for areas down to our south there. That is for parts of Bell, Knox, and
Clay and Leslie.
counties. Yeah, so basically there's a severe thunderstorm warning in the northern part of Clay County, a tornado warning in the northern part of Clay County, and the southern part of Clay County now under a severe thunderstorm warning. Is that a tornado possible tag?
It is not.
It is not. This is just a regular severe thunderstorm warning, so we're tracking that. But as we've been talking about all afternoon, the potential is still there for a lot of areas to see severe weather this afternoon. We thought, or we didn't think, but some people think, oh, it rained this morning, so that probably took some of the punch out of the atmosphere. It really didn't. I mean, it's a very volatile atmosphere, and it's continuing to stir things up. So we're going to continue to watch that. Here's a kind of a reset. If you live anywhere, stop me right here for just a second. If you live anywhere along this line that goes all the way into East Tennessee, you're in danger of seeing at least the very possibility for some strong winds. Now, I'm starting to see again, Cameron, some more try to pop up back out there. That's why that tornado watch goes until 8. All of this is kind of moving off to the northeast. All that in Tennessee still has to come through here. Hopefully, once we get to a certain threshold, we will start to die down a little bit. But I think we're going to continue to see a very active day through this afternoon.
Yeah, it's been very active, but I'm still watching out for this portion of the storm. It kind of has me interested here. It kind of looks like a little bit of a calm ahead, and sometimes when we get that, we can see a quick little spin up out of that portion of the storm. So that's kind of what's keeping my eye right now, kind of on the northern side, the extreme northern side of Clay County, and then southern Owsley County, kind of on the county line there. And this is heading off into portions of extreme northern Perry near Buckhorn, and also into portions of Breathitt County. So again, you really need to be sure to get to your safe place immediately, and that is the lowest floor of your home near the center. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And like we've been talking about, if you do have a helmet, any kind of helmet, a sports helmet, a baseball helmet, some kind of helmet, you need to put that on too so it can protect you. And then you don't want to be in a car, and you do not want to be in a mobile home. Those are the two worst places to be during a tornado warning. They really don't offer you any kind of protection. So we are asking everyone in that portion of the storm to be sure to get to that safe place immediately.
That's right. And a lot of people are watching us on air, on Facebook, hopefully online this time, and hopefully that we're getting the information out to as many people as we can. And the good news is, if we are not talking about you right now, that doesn't mean you're out of danger, just means you're not in the danger right now, okay? So we're looking at these storms here, tracking velocity and rotation and all that.
Looks
kind
like
of see.
It's getting a little bit tighter
It's
there.
starting, so that's part of the reason it looks like they've kept this tornado warning in place, because
there.
it ebbs and flows. It's been doing that all afternoon, so you'll see it be very strong. It dies down a little bit, and then it cycles. It cycles back up there, so we're continuing to watch this as it heads now deeper into Owsley County and eventually on a beeline over toward Breathitt County a little bit later on.
Yeah, let's get a little bit closer in so we can get some more, maybe some roadways and some smaller.
So there's major.
places.
You're kind of we're watching this area kind of right here.
Yep.
Where you're seeing the reds and greens
That
blend together.
brighter green and that brighter white that kind of just showed up.
Yeah,
on the
that's
recent
interesting
scan.
too. I wonder, check correlation coefficient right
Let's
fast
see.
just to see if anything's showing up there on that.
No, thankfully we're not.
Not
So
really.
That's
So
good. Good news.
that's a good sign. That is a good sign. It means that there's no debris being lifted in the atmosphere. So
But it does correlate well with that comma head feature I've been talking
it
about.
does.
So right,
So that could
right
be,
in there.
Yeah, so that could be some stronger winds. That could be some hail, in your area out that way. And there still could be some rotation in that area too. Maybe just nothing that's indicative of a tornado coming down. But we're being very cautious with this storm. Can't stress how important it is for you to be in a safe spot, especially if you're east of this particular cell here. You've only got minutes to get into a safe spot there. Basement is best always, obviously, but you see Sebastian on your door right now. Mistletoe at 3:30, or Mistletoe rather at 3:34. Morris Fork at 3:41. Canoe at 3:48. I believe Canoe is in Breathitt County, or close to the Breathitt County line. And then you see it continues over toward Watts. That's along Highway 15. So if you're in any of these areas, I believe Highway 30 runs back over into Owsley County as well. I know Highway, the one that goes up past Chavez, I can't think of that one. That's probably a road you don't want to be on right now either, because of the simple fact it goes back toward Boonville. Maybe that might be 30 as well. But again, just continue to be aware of that you don't want to be in the cars, you don't want to be on the roads. And even, again,
It's tightening up. I'll give it that.
it's really trying to tighten up right there in that area. And of course, we're still watching. This is what Cameron was pointing out there, that bright, kind of whitish looking color, indicating the possibility for a little bit of everything.
Yeah, so I mean, even if there is no tornado on the ground, it's still producing some pretty strong winds.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if it's rotating or if it's in a straight line.
Exactly.
Winds can do damage either way. So if you were in Owsley County, south of Major in the Ricetown community over towards Cow Creek, be sure to get in your safe place right now. Don't wait on it. Don't go outside looking for it, because one thing, it is pouring rain. So this is going to be rain wrapped. If there is a tornado warning or if there is a tornado on the ground, it is going to be rain wrapped.
Exactly. So we're kind of keeping an eye on this one very closely. And again, just be aware, kind of do a reset real quick to the regional view. All of these storms, even if they're not warned right now, and there's several warnings on these, from basically East Tennessee up through parts of southeast Kentucky. Of course, our tornado warning impacting several counties. The northern end of the area, you're still getting rain, and that brings us to a new problem. We've already had flooding reported. There's a flood watch in effect through 8 o'clock tomorrow morning for the entire region. So even after the storms, the atmosphere calms down. You're still going to have that rain component that could lead to some issues as we head through to early tomorrow morning. Thank you, Cameron, for pulling that up for me. That includes parts of southwest Virginia. That includes southern West Virginia and all of eastern Kentucky, and even parts of southern Kentucky and central Kentucky. That all goes through 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So again, we've got that. We've also got the tornado watch. Read my mind. You knew where I was going. Tornado watch in effect until 8 o'clock for parts of most of the area there, from Pike County all the way over to Pulaski County, everything south and along the Hal Rogers Parkway Highway 80 corridor. So you need to continue to be vigilant up until 8 o'clock tonight. Cameron?
Yeah, this severe thunderstorm warning also goes up to the line here, the state line over towards Bell County and Whitley County. So just a heads up, I know earlier we had those warnings go through Bell County, but there are more storms on the doorstep, and those are moving off into your general direction. So just because you get one storm doesn't mean that you're finished. And then we also have this severe thunderstorm warning over portions of southern Clay County and to portion of Knox over towards northern Bell County there. So all of these storms are capable of producing some very strong winds, but our focus right now is on this tornado warning. And I think the greatest danger of a tornado looks to be in southern Owsley County, right there where you see that really bright white and green color kind of up against that red color there. That is where we are looking at the the possibility for some rotation, and this is moving off towards the north and east at 35 to 40 miles per hour. So just a heads up, if you are in Cow Creek, if you are in Canoe over in Breathitt County, and if you're in Jackson, I don't think Jackson is actually in the warning yet.
No.
But just a heads up, if it's extended, you could be in that warning soon.
Exactly. It might be actually just south of Jackson for the warning, but hard shell over in Breathitt County, early heads up. Canoe, Breathitt County, Cow Creek, it's basically on top of you right now. Let's zoom a little tighter in there, give you some of the smaller communities in Owsley County that we're still looking at there. Ricetown coming up on you pretty fast. Morris Fork over into Breathitt County there, kind of close to it's basically into the center. This is not going to make a whole lot of sense, but I'm going to try to make sense. The central parts of southern Owsley County. There we go. I got my directions right on that one. So if you're anywhere from basically Cow Creek down to community I'm not even going to try to pronounce down that way into southern Owsley County, you need to be in your safe spot because these storms mean business. They're packing a punch. They have a history of producing damage and injuries back out into parts of the Lake Cumberland area. So you just need to take these storms very seriously as they race off to the northeast. And we've got more down in Tennessee that are still working their way in. So it's going to be a long afternoon.
Yeah,
Cameron is circling right there, the area of most concern at the moment.
Even on the latest few scans, it still shows up pretty well. So let me kind of back it up for you so you can see. Earlier, about let's say 10 minutes or so ago, it kind of just wasn't nothing there, and then you see all of a sudden it just kind of tightened up about right
to the south
there.
of Island City.
Yep, and then it's still kind of keeping its way up. So if you're in Ricetown, you need to be in your safe place immediately. That is the lowest floor of your home, near the center. Put as many walls between you and the outside because this is a dangerous storm and potentially life-threatening if there is a tornado warning, if there's a tornado on the ground, excuse me. So be sure to be in your safe place immediately.
Exactly. And again, you know, thankfully, and I don't want to say thankfully because there are people impacted in these areas, even though it's smaller communities, and we understand that. And you're our neighbors, just like, you know, we're your neighbors, but don't want to see anybody get hurt. But this is, and if it could be a good thing, this is a good thing because it's staying away from most of the major population centers here in eastern Kentucky. So again, we're just kind of keeping an eye on parts of Owsley County right now, eventually going into Breathitt County in the next few minutes.
They have taken Perry County out of the warning.
Okay.
So if you're in Buckhorn, you're good with that.
So they trimmed that out down here on the southern end. Okay, so that's some good news for Perry County. But here's the thing. We've still got this cell down here moving through parts of Clay County. It could mean business too, and it hits some drier air over here in Perry County. It might ramp back up too. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye on that. But right now, we have that severe thunderstorm warning that covers just north of Hazard. That covers Buckhorn. That's the tornado possible one.
I think that was just a, no it is, yep.
Tornado possible, yep. And then that goes all the way back over toward Krypton over here in Perry County. And then of course you see this tornado warning now just to the south of Jackson. There's the radar up there behind the banner. But you can see the tornado warning going through parts. And that's staying steady.
Yeah.
I mean, the wide area is actually expanding a little bit, it looks like.
Holding its own for sure. So we are looking at that, kind of getting its act together over portions of Owsley County. So just a heads up, we've been talking about this. If you're in Ricetown, if you're in Cow Creek, you need to be to your safe place right now. It's probably raining really heavily over in Ricetown. So if you're outside, you're not going to be able to see this thing because it's going to be wrapped in rain. So be sure to be inside in your safe place right now.
And as we've been highlighting all afternoon, anywhere on any of these storms, not this just particular storm, but anywhere on any storms that you see moving through today, if you see little notches, like right through here, down all the way down into parts of southern Owsley County, that means strong winds. That's just not only today, that's with any storm. If you see a complex on the radar that has those little notches out there, that means the winds are going to be strong. Now, Crockettsville, a popular venue for folks who attended concerts a while back that they put on out there, we jokingly called them Crockstock because it was in Crockettsville on kind of a farm, but that area kind of in the northern parts there of, or southern parts rather, of Breathitt County, northern parts of Perry County, again, in that polygon right now. Canoe over in Breathitt County in that. So again, some communities, smaller communities, but not less important communities in the path of this possible tornado right now. We do not have any confirmation that a tornado has touched down. We are looking at radar. We're looking at correlation coefficient, which can show us debris balls. If they're heading in, we're in a very good spot for this tornado warning because the radar is literally right up there, just north of Jackson. So we're getting a very good look at this storm, and we're still seeing some pretty intense rotation at times.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely got its act together, and it's really approaching Ricetown at the moment. So I'm going to get even closer. You see this area of light green and this blue and white color, that is indicative of some very strong winds. So if it's not a tornado, it can be damaging straight line winds. So that can be very damaging. Be sure to take that seriously. So if you are in Ricetown, if you are in Arnett, be sure to go to your safe place immediately. This is portions of eastern Owsley County. This is a tornado warning, and we're starting to see this couplet kind of get its act together, especially over central and eastern Owsley County. This is south of the South Fork community. This is south of Booneville. This is coming into Ricetown, close to Sebastian, over towards Lucky Fork and Arnett as well. You need to be in your safe place because this storm means business. I mean, it can be dangerous. We had this storm produce damage over Pulaski County near Burnside. We had pictures of some damage. We also had reports of an injury. We don't have any word on what happened or any more than that. All we know is there was an injury in Burnside in Pulaski County from this storm. So it's something that you really need to take seriously.
Okay, so let's recap and kind of reset there, Cameron. Let's zoom back out to the regional view, and we're going to tell you what all is going on right now. And it's just before 3:40. You're watching WYMT TV in Hazard, Kentucky, and we're recapping these storms. Myself, Brandon Robinson, and meteorologist Cameron Aaron. We've got a lot going on. Of course, any of these storms have the possibility to fire up and turn severe at any time, but the active warnings we have right now is the tornado warning that goes until how long does that go to, Cameron?
3:45.
So 3:45, so a few minutes on that.
7 more minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Minutes.
And then we've got severe thunderstorm warnings in parts of several counties, including down toward Tennessee, the Tennessee border. We've got some going through the northern parts of Clay County and Perry County now. We've got some down coming across the border from Tennessee into far southeastern Kentucky. We had one a little earlier, but it looks like it's gone over there in southwest Virginia at the moment, unless I just can't see it behind it. Actually, take the radar off and let me see just where the warnings are active right now. Just hit that. There we go. So look at that. Quite a few severe warnings. We've got the one tornado warning. That one is gone. So we have the one also for parts of Knox and southern Clay and into Bell counties. And then we got the one coming across the border back into Bell County. Of course, the same areas that were kind of hit earlier with a tornado warning there, Claiborne and Bell County and even Harlan County a little bit. So these storms continue to cycle. We have another one we're watching just south of the border there at Wayne County that we continue to track there. And of course, these darker, these burgundy reds are flash flood warnings that are ongoing across parts of West Virginia. So we not only have all those warnings to talk about, but put the radar back on. We've got a very big line of storms that is still working its way through the region, and that will continue for several more hours. And there's even possibilities of redevelopment back out to the west that we're continuing to watch as well.
Yeah, we're going to continue to watch out for this tornado warning as well. We'll get back close to this storm as it's coming close to the Breathitt and Owsley County line. If you're in Ricetown, it is on top of you right now. The tornadic part of this storm close to Lucky Fork over towards Cow Creek and portions of Breathitt County. If you were in Houston, if you were in the community of Canoe, if you were in Morris Fork, all of you guys are included in a tornado warning, and this goes until 3:45. So the next 5 minutes or so, and we will be able to see whether the National Weather Service will extend this warning further into Breathitt County or allow it to expire at 3:45. So that's something that I will be watching out for very closely, but just that white color has expanded.
I wonder what that is. I mean, obviously it's strong winds, but it's kind of set right there in that area and actually expanded just a little bit over the last few minutes. So you can kind of tell as it gets a little closer to the radar, the red is starting to pull away. The red is wind moving away from the radar. The green is wind moving toward the radar. But that's an interesting situation there. So if you live in this part of Owsley County, near Ricetown, south of Cow Creek, Arnett, those areas, send us some reports or send the Weather Service some reports because I'm curious to see what's actually going on there. I know there's heavy rain. We know there's likely strong wind, but that's just something you don't typically see that often on Velocity.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes too, like you mentioned, there is heavy rain. And if I'm thinking this is probably straight line winds up above the surface, and sometimes when you have that heavy rainfall, those winds can get mixed up in that rain and that downpour and come down to the surface. So like Brandon mentioned, if you're in eastern Owsley County, you're probably getting some very strong winds right now. And if you can do so safely, send those reports, those pictures to us, the National Weather Service, so we can be sure to get that out to the public.
There you go. But you see now, basically, it's becoming more broad on the rate. I don't think they'll expand this past 3:45. I think they'll let it go here pretty soon. But I'd still say all the way into Breathitt County to still be on alert because of the simple fact that Put up correlation coefficient one more time. I'm just curious. I'm going to look at that one more time just to see. Could that be some hail?
Well, I'm curious
in
now
that
about
area?
that little spot right there. Let
Yeah.
me see if that. Put your finger on that.
Right
Let's
there.
Put that velocity. Let's see if it.
That's interesting.
It's close.
It's close to that same area we've been highlighting. So yeah, so let's keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Allison County, if you got some reports in that area, if you could do so safely, please get those to us because I'm curious to see what's going on in that area there right now. But again, I do expect, unless this rotation just tightens back up here again pretty quickly in the next 3 minutes, because it goes until 3:45. So I think they'll allow that to expire. Maybe replace it with a severe thunderstorm warning tornado possible.
Yeah.
But this is one of those days you need to take every single storm seriously. Okay, very active atmosphere, a lot of energy, lots of things that can happen today. And of course, not only do we have the severe storm threat, we have the flooding threat. So we're going to continue to kind of keep that in mind.
That is not a correct time. Let me change it out for you.
He's working on some timing over there. Give him just a second. But again, and you see again surrounding that that tornado warning, you got a severe thunderstorm warning going all the way back up into parts of Lee County and all the way back down into parts of Clay County. So 344, which is basically right now in Morris Fork, Canoe over in Breathitt County, at 352, Hard Shell also in Breathitt County at 410, and then Evanston. I'm not sure exactly where Evanston is. That's getting into the Big Sandy over that way. And then Waldo, I believe Waldo is in southern Morgan County, I think that's in southern Morgan County. So this kind of gives you an idea if this storm holds together, which direction it's going to be. There's 460 up into parts of Morgan County, going back over. Actually, that's Magoffin County. Sorry, that's Magoffin County. So Waldo may be in Magoffin County there, but it's heading toward the Big Sandy, and we're going to continue to see this kind of push through. That's an interesting signature there.
It's
not
anything,
moved.
If anything, it's some very strong winds.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of cautious to kind of see what it's, because we've seen this storm produce that damage over in Pulaski County, and this kind of looks better in terms of stronger winds on radar than maybe because it's closer to the actual radar itself. We're getting a better look at that.
Exactly. So that, the radar here is at Jackson, just up the road there at the National Weather Service office. There's the dome for the radar right there over my shoulder, and you see the sweep coming through. But that, I don't know, that it's expanded and it's not really moved much. So I'll be curious to see what that could be. Let's reset and see. We should be basically at the end of the tornado warning.
Let's see what they do
at
with
this
that.
point. Let's see. No, it's still maybe going all the way to 345. Let's see what happens when 345 hits there. So another 20 seconds on that one, and then we'll kind of see how we play out. But there's still a lot of active weather going on across the mountains. Again, don't let your guard down. We have the tornado watch until 8. We have the flood watch until 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. There's still a lot of severe weather to go. We're going to wait just a couple of seconds, see if they let that tornado warning go in parts of Owsley County there, maybe southern Breathitt County. So it's 3:45. It looks like it went away.
Looks like they
so it went away.
To expire.
Yeah. So Cameron, recap us through the active warnings we have and tell us the start and end, or tell us the end times.
Yeah. So we got that severe thunderstorm warning there for portions of. Let's zoom back into that. Let's see. So that basically, it kind of replaces that tornado warning, but you have that severe thunderstorm warning until 4 o'clock for portions of Breathitt, Clay, Lee, Leslie, Owsley, and Perry, and that goes until 4 o'clock, and that does have a tornado possible tag on it, but also looking at wind speeds upwards of 60 miles per hour. So even if you do not get a tornado, we got a new tornado warning for Breathitt and Owsley until 4:15.
So that's brand new.
Yeah, they replaced it.
We're not going anywhere yet.
They replaced
Can't get rid of us that easy. All right. Let's reset there. So there's the new tornado warning. Still south of Jackson going until 4:15. So they decided to reissue after all, kind of based on the broad rotation. They might expect it to tighten up again once it gets closer to the radar side. So Jackson is not included in the polygon. Hazard as well south. So basically Canoe, this is going to come up on you here in the next few minutes. Houston, it's going to come up on you in the next few minutes. Haddocks. So if you live anywhere on 15 between Hazard and Jackson in southern Breathitt County, get in a safe spot. If you live anywhere in the south central parts of Breathitt County, get in your safe spot now. And of course, those are basements, number one, buildings that have sturdy structures. There we go. Avoid areas that are closest to the outside. Make sure you're in the interior part of your home. Hail or a hall or a small room. I got hail on the brain right now. hall or a small room away from windows or the lowest level. Avoid large open areas like gyms, abandoned cars, and mobile homes. Get out of them, especially if you're on 15 there between Jackson and Hazard, or actually let's call it Jackson and the Perry County line. Let's do it there that way, and that's kind of an easier way to remember that, and we'll continue again to see that be a situation
Brandon,
for us.
we got a new severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag for Bell, Clay, Harlan, Leslie, and Perry until 4:15.
We've been watching that storm, so it's basically the same time as the tornado warning, right?
Yes.
So 4:15 on both of these. Take the radar.
The National Weather Service in Jackson, Kentucky has issued a tornado warning for eastern Owsley County, west central Breathitt County until 4:15 p.m. At 3:45 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Arnett, or 7 miles southeast of Boonville, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Houston around 3:50 p.m. Sebastian's Branch around 3:55 p.m. Kern around 4:05 p.m. Other locations in the path of this tornadic thunderstorm include Haddocks. Repeating, a tornado warning has been issued until 4:15 p.m. for the following counties in Kentucky, Breathitt, and Owsley.
White and dark green colors, and we were kind of watching that to see what it would do. And you see, it's kind of
started to spread out a little more.
It's kind of weakened. It's not as white as it was. Let's back this up a little bit.
Wait, before you back out, go right in here.
Okay.
What is that?
Let's see.
That's an interesting little feature there. It looks like it's got a little bit of red in it.
Right here.
Yeah, so that's
near
right
Houston.
There near Houston. So if you're in the Houston area, be aware that you could be seeing some heavy rain, some strong winds. And one of the main threats for this system originally was large hail. So that might be something that we're keeping an eye on there to kind of see if that's showing up. But at this point, I do believe we're looking at a situation that could be very impactful there for eastern parts of Owsley County and western parts of Breathitt County.
That warning did have up to 1 inch in diameter hail. And we're not looking at much hail on this map, but you know, I wouldn't rule it out. Just to be safe.
Exactly. So, and again, in this area, you see right here is the radar. So we're getting pretty good views from the radar right now. But here is the thing: if it's in some of those valleys, the beam scans pretty high, so it can get across the mountains. So if it's in some of those valleys, it may miss just a little something. So again, tornado safety paramount for this. Make sure you stay in your safe place. Make sure that you're taking all the precautions. Make sure that you've got helmets if you have them on. Make sure that you're in a basement if you can be. Get out of mobile homes, get out of cars, get off the road, get somewhere safe, because this situation is very dangerous there. And it's now, again, basically from Lee County all the way down into far southeastern Kentucky and into the border counties. But of course, right here is the situation we're most concerned with now, as that tornado warning expanded till 4:15 for parts of Owsley and Breathitt counties.
Yes.
Okay, and then we also have so we're going to put the track on here real fast. This storm is moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. So Hayden, early heads up for you. You got about 3 minutes to get in your safe spot because you're in that severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag on it. We've got Viper here in Perry County at 4:14, Krypton at 4:01. I see my neck of the woods is over into the track there now over in Letcher County. Cumberland, you're in it too for 4:28. Lynch, place I know very well, used to live in Lynch, at 4:35. Colson, which is the closest community to my house, at 4:41. And Mousy over in Knott County at 4:46. So this is covering a huge chunk of real estate across the mountains, and it's going to continue to race to the northeast. And there's still more storms on the way.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, we're not even done with it. We have more severe thunderstorm, severe thunderstorm warnings back to the south and west over portions of central and northern Tennessee.
Back out toward Nashville now.
Yeah,
There's a new warning out there.
We have 3 over portions of northern Tennessee that are moving into our direction. So we're not done.
Nope.
And we talked about this yesterday, Brandon. I know during a Facebook Live I mentioned it's not a one and done kind of system. You know, sometimes we get those squall lines. It's in, it's out, it's over. With this one, it's kind of been an all-day event. We had the rain this morning. We had portions of Whitley County over in Corbin got flooded. We had some flood reports. We had some reports of flooding over our West Virginia counties. And then we kind of transitioned into more of a severe storm threat as we got towards the afternoon once that sun kind of heated the atmosphere up and we got more of that instability. And the low pressure system also got closer into the neck of the woods. And while I'm talking about that, let's kind of show you where that low pressure is. And this is the one we're watching near Bowling Green. This is the one near Nashville and Bowling Green. That's that low pressure system that's going to cause even more spin into the atmosphere. And that is what we're going to watch out for over the next little bit. And you see here, there is that spin in the atmosphere. You can see those showers kind of rotating in a counterclockwise direction, and that is going to add more spin, and that's going to move into our direction. The National Weather Service did cancel the tornado warning for Owsley. So if you're in Owsley County, you're all clear from this particular storm, but they are going to continue the warning for Breathitt County. So if you were in that tornado warning in Breathitt County, be sure to stay in your safe place, Brandon.
All right, so let's go back, kind of reset here again. Let's go back to the tornado warning there. Goes until 4:15. We are approaching basically almost 4 o'clock. It is 3:53 right now, and we're going to continue to see, again, some areas under the gun. If you're in Canoe, it's on top of you right now.
And that spot's back.
Yeah, so the spot is back. It's basically just south of Houston right now. This is the spot we've been concerned about all the way from Owsley County there, those brighter colors indicating, again, and it's getting so close to the radar at this point, it may be getting into that dead zone kind of particular there.
Yep.
But this is still a good view. We may start to lose some of this. You see how it's becoming more scattered over here, the away winds when you get closer to the radar. So we may lose a little bit of coverage on that. But you see there, the biggest concern right now, it's scooted out of Owsley County. So as Cameron said, Owsley County, you are in the clear from the storm aspect, but not necessarily the rain. But south of Houston, there in Breathitt County, heading toward Canoe, it's basically right on top of you now. Morris Fork to the south, Shoulder Blade up there to the north. All these areas are going to be impacted, and eventually Wolf Cove, Little, Haddocks, a little bit further off to the east there, and then eventually over toward Watts. So this is basically the Highway 15 corridor here, kind of running basically from here. Right there's the road, actually. I think I see it. Right there, you see the 15 corridor. So this is going to cross Highway 15 there, probably Russo, probably closest to Russo in that community over that way. So just kind of keep in mind that that's going to be in the next area up under the gun here in the next little bit there. Let's take it real close, Cameron.
Okay.
Just kind of want to see what communities are down there. There's Haddocks. So that's basically, let's scoot back this way just a little bit. I'm trying to kind of preview out here. Go just a touch closer so we can see what else is down there. Okay, there's Cragen up that way. There's Haddocks. I know this is part of like there's Jackson off to the north there, but this is that 15 corridor. So I know the Russo communities over there. I'm sure you are included in that polygon. It's just when you get in these areas, some of these communities are so small they don't want to show up on the radar. But I know they're out there. I've driven that road many times, 15 up from Hazard to Jackson. So again, just keep an eye on those areas, especially as we get that definitive signature there near Houston over in Breathitt County. Now remember, any of these storms, any of these notches. Now, some of these, of course, it's going to be strong winds, but if you see them that are more kind of like look like this kind of situation there over toward Canoe, not all these spikes are strong winds. I'm sure there's some strong winds, but you've got to find those little notches, okay? Here might be a little bit of strong wind. Again, right there. And again, some of those areas are still kind of watching that. So heavy rain now falling through Turkey and Cope Branch and Houston. Canoe, you're next in line. Crockettsville is kind of past you right now. It's going to be south of Jackson. And then we see Haddocks up north, or up next there, kind of in that path there, moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. Right.
We have a new severe thunderstorm warning for northern Breathitt with a tornado possible tag.
So there we go. So basically, when's that end?
This does include Jackson, and it goes until 4:30.
Okay. So, yep, till 4:30. I'm just seeing that now pop up here on the watch. All right. So
that spot is right over Canoe.
Yeah, that's right over. That's a concerning spot right there.
So if you are in that community, And you need to be in your safe place, first of
Yes.
all. But secondly,
Yes.
once this passes by, let us know what's going on in your neck of the woods, because we've been kind of concerned with that spot.
Absolutely.
Because of the possibility of maybe a tornado, but also maybe some strong straight line winds that can do just as much damage.
And he's spot on with that. I mean, literally. And I think that's, I don't know. I don't work for the Weather Service. They will have to survey that to find out exactly. My suspicion is what went through Pulaski County was straight line winds. Okay, we have not had any confirmed tornadoes today. We have had a funnel cloud back out toward Burnside, so it could have been a tornado out that way. But I think the deeper it gets into eastern Kentucky, and I completely understand why the Weather Service is continuing to issue these warnings like this, the tornado possibles and the tornado warnings, because it's better safe than sorry. We already have had proven damage and injuries back out, at least one injury back out toward Pulaski County. So I'm all for that. Better safe than sorry in situations like this, because this is a potent storm system. We have lows to our north and south that are going to track over our area. Of course, the one like Cameron mentioned earlier, the one to our south is the one we're most concerned about. But again, if you can safely do so, once these storms pass, send us those reports. Get them to the Weather Service. I know a lot of you are watching on Facebook. Some of you are watching on air, and I'm getting messages like crazy. What about my area? What about my area? If we're not talking about you, which right now is not a lot of people because there's a lot of warnings active everywhere, you're not in any danger at the moment. But these storms are going to continue to cycle throughout the afternoon, and it can continue to be a factor for you as we get deeper into the day.
I will say, I just come across a video, and I told our news people we need to try and get that cleared, but it does look like a possible tornado in Pulaski County from Burnside.
Okay, so that is good to know. So that's where the funnel cloud was reported. So we we're still trying to get that video. Hopefully we can get it into the system here. We can run it in the next little bit if we get it cleared. But we have to get that copyright cleared.
And this is the same storm. So,
this is literally the same storm that came from Pulaski County and is now racing across the mountains. The exact same storm, okay?
So it has potential.
So it has the potential for that. Thank you for that update, Cameron. All right, so south of Jackson, north of Hazard. Tornado warning there for another about 15 minutes. Haddocks, get in your safe spot. Little, get in your safe spot. Anywhere else along that 15 corridor right there, get in your safe spot.
And no one should be driving on 15
exactly.
right now. Not a soul.
If you're on 15, pull off the road, find a house to get into, because this is a very serious situation. No tornadoes confirmed. Tornadoes suspected out into parts of Pulaski County. We do not have confirmation on that. We are working to see if we can get that video cleared so we maybe can show it to you here in the next little bit. But
the Storm Prediction Center just dropped their update.
Okay.
So I want to check that out for just a second
go right
to
ahead.
see if we have had any
I'll get out of the way.
changes. And we're still in the slide, so there's no changes.
They actually pulled. Did they pull the moderate back just a little bit, or the enhanced rather?
I think it's the same spot.
Okay. For some reason,
right
I thought
along
earlier
that
this
corridor.
morning it was a little like Kingsport was included, but it's still it's basically the same area. I mean, it doesn't take anything in eastern Kentucky, southern Kentucky, southwest Virginia, East Tennessee, western West Virginia out. It's still the same for us. It didn't change. So it's a 2 out of 5 risk there. This is the 4 o'clock update, just literally dropping. So you're getting to see it live here on the air. So again, very active day. And let's go back out to the west just a little bit. Okay. We're not done. Look at all this. All this is still coming in. Take it a little bit wider.
Take the radar off too so you can get a better look.
Look at all these severe thunderstorm warnings. That's all the way down through Knoxville. We've got a flash flood warning down that way for Knoxville. You've got all this severe weather that still has to move through. All this is kind of put the SATRAD loop on for the last 6 hours.
Okay.
Kind of this same view. There we go. All of this is still pushing in, okay? It's what we still have to go. Now, I think the closer we get to dark and the closer the atmosphere stabilizes, we have really not had a whole lot of sunshine today, at least that I've seen. We're in a windowless room, so I couldn't tell you if we had or not, but I don't think we've had much sunshine today. So that typically is a factor. If you get the atmosphere warmer, it basically stirs things up and creates more instability. But today we've not really had any. So the atmosphere is creating its own instability because the track's those lows. It is 4 o'clock. News should be on now, but we are in continuing severe weather coverage here. Brandon Robinson, meteorologist Cameron Aaron, and we are continuing to track severe weather across the mountains as it races across the mountains. Let's reset here. Going back, we've got several warnings. If you want to take the radar off again, Cameron, we'll kind of highlight some of the bigger ones. I'm going to highlight a couple of the bigger ones, and then I'll let Cameron kind of take care of the rest of them there. We have that tornado warning until 4:15 there into parts of Breathitt County. We also have a new severe thunderstorm warning up to the northern parts, including Jackson, that has a tornado warning or a tornado possible tag on that one.
Yes.
Also till 4:15, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then we have another one down this way. I think
4:30.
4:30 for the severe thunderstorm warning that includes
the south
Jackson.
one's 4:15.
Okay. And then we've got this one down here until 4:15. This is a tornado possible as well.
Yes.
That includes the city of Hazard, the city of Harlan, the city of Hyden. Everybody basically in that orange box there under the threat to see a possible tornado. These storms are very strong, and I'm going to step out and let you recap some of the ones down to the south that are in our area too.
Yeah, I think we are just tracking those right now.
That's
we
it
do,
for- yeah, I
we
see that
do
now.
have these in northern Tennessee, and you can see by the way the polygons are shaped, they are pointed in our direction. So if they are extended anymore, they will be into our counties. So just a heads up. If you're in Wayne County, if you are in McCreary County, if you are in Campbell County, just a heads up, we do have those severe thunderstorm warnings just off to your west and south, and those are pushing off into our direction. So we will see what the National Weather Service wants to do, whether they will extend those warnings further off into the area or if they're going to let those expire. I'm going to put the radar back on so we can kind of focus just a second on this severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag, because it is about to come through some pretty heavily populated areas. So if you're in Harlan, just a heads up, you are about to get impacted by this storm. We could see winds upwards of 60 miles per hour, maybe some small hail as well. And over towards Hazard along the Hal Rogers Parkway, I wouldn't be driving along the parkway right now if I were you between Hazard and Hyden, because this is, if it's not severe, it's some very heavy rainfall, so it's going to be hard to see, and that can be easily, impactful to your travel. So just a heads up, and we can get back to that tornado warning now, Brandon.
That's right. And I'm going to put some other counties. Zoom back out for just a second. We're going to keep a close eye on that, but a little bit wider view there. Some counties I'm going to put on alert because, again, these warnings are likely to get expanded even further, especially these severe thunderstorm warnings. So I'm going to go ahead and put Knott County on alert. I'm going to put Floyd County on alert. I'm going to put Johnson County on alert. I'm going to put McGoffin County on alert. I'm going to put Pike County on alert. I'll put Letcher County on alert, because even though you're not included in the warnings, these storms are racing off to the northeast, and this is a line that stretches all the way down to the Tennessee border, okay, and across the Tennessee border. So areas down toward that way, you're going to continue to see these storms cycle. And look out here. Even more storms trying to pump up out there with that system still pulling in from the south. The low is not even here yet. We're going to continue to see that low be a factor for us as we get deeper into the daytime hours and even into the nighttime hours. I do believe that the severe threat will start to calm down a little bit the deeper in the day we get. But again, we still have several hours to go of potential coverage here before we're all said and done with this system. So let's go back to the tornado warning. We'll recap that real fast. That's supposed to go until 4:15.
And we are moving into that kind of area where it's too close to the radar. So we had the problem earlier; it was too far.
Too far away,
now
but
it's kind of too close.
Right there is the radar, the site there at the Julian Carroll Airport, and just outside of Jackson there, so you can see it sweeping through there. And again, we are too close. Let's go back to velocity. See, we're in that dead zone basically for the Doppler now. Once it gets on the other side of that, we'll be able to get a better picture of it there. But again, we're looking at again kind of a bad spot there for that. But once it
possible
gets
tornado though, that's near Haddocks. So if you are near Haddocks or live along Highway 15 just to the south of Jackson, you need to be in your safe place.
Was that from the Weather Service?
Huh?
Was that from the Weather Service, or are you just talking about from what you're seeing on radar?
Yeah, just from what I'm seeing.
Oh, okay,
possible,
yeah. So, yeah, right here, Haddocks, it's right on top of you at this point. Anywhere along 15 from Jackson down to Hazard or the Perry County line, don't do it. Don't drive. Actually, I'm going to call it Hazard now because we're under a severe thunderstorm warning, the tornado possible tag. Stay off of 15. Stay off of US 119 down to the south. Stay off of some of the major roads. Stay off of 80 between Hal Rogers Parkway, between Hazard and Hyden. And then 80 going back toward Pikeville. Could be under the gun here pretty soon. So we're going to continue to watch this. About 10 minutes left on this tornado warning. And we may try to get into the first at 4 here in just a few minutes if this is allowed to expire. But we're going to keep an eye on this. The Weather Service folks are keeping a close eye on this. We're going to keep a close eye on it. But so far, to set the scene for you, this line of storms is the same line of storms that we know caused damage out in Burnside, in Lake Cumberland area. It came through there. If you can, Cameron, put the radar on a loop for the last 4 hours, and we'll kind of give you an idea where these came from and where they're going. So he's backing it up right there.
Let's zoom in closer. Let's
Yeah.
kind of investigate this.
That would be Burnside, kind of right there. Okay, there's Burnside. So we know in Burnside there was damage from a suspected tornado. Okay,
Kind of had a little
glitch there because it was a little far. So this is the same cell that has moved down that way that we know has caused damage. Then it rolled across into Laurel County, northern Laurel County, and then now through parts of Jackson County on into Owsley County, and then as we move, that is the same cell that is now moving through Breathitt County.
I kind of want to look as well at the velocity couplet as it was over Burnside, just to kind of get an idea if we had any rotation as it was coming through. So let's back this up a little bit. Let's see.
See, that's the problem, though. That's in one of those radar dead spots.
Yeah.
Because it's too far from the radar at that point. We're a little bit too close right now, but we're too far out there. That whole area.
I can still see a little bit though.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, right about that time.
Right there.
That kind of matches up with the time we saw those pictures not too long after that posted. It was the Lake Cumberland Speedway, or I can't remember exactly what it was that you showed me the pictures of earlier.
I can't remember what the name of it was.
Yeah, but it was some kind of racetrack out there near Burnside. It was Lake Cumberland something, but they had some damage and it looked pretty rough. But again, we're kind of keeping an eye out to see exactly.
I mean, just a heads up though, we have more storms on the way. So if you're in Pulaski County, you took it on the chin, but we have more that are just around the corner.
Yeah. So this is not the time to let your guard down by any means, because we still have more coming in here.
Some
it
good
looks like the
news.
tornado warning's gone.
I think they're going to let that expire.
Yeah.
And they're going to replace it with that severe thunderstorm warning. Excuse me.
Right. So they still have some strong characteristics, but it looks like the rotation has died off enough to kind of die down below the tornadic threshold with the rotation. So I tell you what we're going to do. Let's reset one more time. We're going to get into the news here in just a second. We'll take a little break here and get everybody squared away so we can get resituated. But again, take the radar off.
Okay.
Here is the warnings we still have active. The tornado warning is still showing up there, but I believe it's going to be allowed to expire because it wasn't on the closer view. So we've got the Jackson warning there for northern Breathitt County until 4:30 or 15. 4:30 for that one. So that's a tornado possible tag. We have this one. Is that a new one? That new severe thunderstorm? Up to 4:30. That's a tornado possible tag.
Yep.
And you've got this one that impacts several counties. Perry, parts of Perry, parts of Leslie, parts of Harlan. That is all going to race eastward. That goes until 4:15. So just got a couple more minutes on that. That also has a tornado possible tag on it. So we're going to take a break. We're going to reset, get ready for the newscast, and we'll have continuing coverage, break in anytime we need to. And we are going to continue to watch the situation very closely. We'll be back in just a few minutes.